All right, welcome to the Sharp Mind Show, episode 20. I'm Nate, the FitfutureMD, your host. Make sure you shop at Intersil.com, pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt today, and use code FitfutureMD for 20% off. Like this video, comment down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. It really helps us out. All right, so as you know, it's a Sharp Mind Show. And Sharp Mind Show, we're talking about money, right? And how do you make money? You make money on the weekends, right? So we're going to talk about trying to find companies that are, undervalued for what they are. This one in particular has uh, what I call like good values, right? We talked yesterday about values. So I'm going to talk about the honest company, right? So number one, the honest company is increasing its return on capital, right? So in previous years, it's had negative return on capital. Now we're into the positive return on capital, right? It is now a profitable company. Now, this isn't like crazy profit. It's 6 cents a share that this company's making, so not crazy profit, but it is a profitable company now, right? It's down big from its all-time highs. Its all-time highs from 2021 were like $19.55. We're sitting at $3.96 as of yesterday, Friday, right? And it's down 43% year to date, right? Now, why is it down? So, RFK is basically coming out with like, okay, you can't have these dyes, you can't have all this stuff. Well, that's what the honest company has already done, right? They've already taken out all these dyes. They've already taken out all this negative stuff out of their products, right? Which allowed them to, charge a little bit higher premium for their products, right? Now, if everybody else starts doing that, do they lose that competitive advantage, or does the brand still hold the meaning? We're the honest company, right? So this is kind of what we're looking for, right? You're looking for a company that is increasing their profitability, right? They have good values, good morals, and they're at a price that is just a really good price, right? So if you bought this company at $4 and it went to zero, you know, you would be upset if it went to zero, but in your heart, you knew you purchased the right company, right? Because of your values, your morals, they line up with the company, right? So, and honestly, I'm a person that has eczema. I don't know if you can see it on my hands or not, but I have eczema, right? And stuff like that is from, the chemicals that we put on our hands every day, washing them, that kind of stuff, right? So, I'm not saying that I use the Honest Company's products because I do not, that I know of. But that's kind of the idea, right? Is to take out the chemicals and stuff that cause that kind of stuff, right? So we're at $3.96. It's down 43% on the year. It's really, can this stock get a catalyst to go back to $8, to go back to $15, to go back to $19, right? And reporting profitability is a good indicator of that, right? So, like I say, this stock would not be considered, it wouldn't be considered a value investment. It wouldn't be considered, it's considered what's called a penny stock, right? So, of course, you always have short-term, long-term, or short-term, medium-term, and long-term investing, right? So this would be something that I would consider what's called a long-term investment, right? So I would want to buy this at this time where it's down big, and I'm going to hold it for at least 10 years, right? Because this company's got a long way to grow, and just because it doubles up, you could do it as a short term, or say it doubles up to $6 or doubles up to $8, or it goes up to $6 and then doubles up to $8 or goes to $10. You could make a little bit of money like that, but I'm not going to throw $20,000 into this company, when other competitors can come and beat it, right? Just because they got a great role model in Jessica Alba in the company doesn't necessarily mean that that company is going to be viable long term, right? There's a lot of people that are famous, that don't run good companies, right? But it looks like from this return on capital that they're becoming a good company, but you just don't know, right? So this is something I say. So you got, you're investing 15% a year long term, right? You say you take 1% of that allocation, maybe 2% of that allocation, and put it into something like this, right? So to do simple math, you're making 60K, 10%, 6,000. You're going to take $500 and throw it into the honest company. Now, this is honestly not financial advice. This is just an example of what something like this would look like, right? You take $500, you're getting it for $4, like, you're getting a bunch of shares, over 100 shares, and you want to hope this thing runs up to $100 for you, and you make a crap ton of money on a $500 bet, right? So this is kind of like what you're looking for on the weekends. And honestly, when you start looking for this stuff, you're going to find way more than you even have enough money to invest in, right? So then you are, kind of looking around saying, well, which one is the best one, right? So that's the honest company. This episode is brought to you by London and the Googly Goo. Make sure you check out London and the Googly Goo if you have any nieces, nephews, or children of your own that need a great book with a great moral. Check it out on Amazon, London and the Googly Goo. Click the link in the description below if you want the PDF version for a little bit cheaper. And also, like I said, it's got great morals, so check that out. All right, so not to come at any surprise, but Trump changes the H-1B visa price from $1,000 to $100,000, right? And hold on, I'm gonna look up something real quick. I don't know if that's gonna be a question this can answer, but hopefully it can. So 730,000 people have H-1B visas. So 730,000 people have H-1B visas right now, right? If you change the price from $1,000 to $100,000, you go from, 7.3 million to $73 billion in revenue, right? Number one. So, number one, if you got a problem with, having enough money to do stuff, obviously making it from 1,000 to 100,000 and making 73 billion in revenue is obviously a no-brainer. So this is going to hurt small businesses in the country that rely on H-1B visas for their workers, like summertime help, that kind of stuff, because, it's basically going to make it where, you were bringing somebody in, they were willing to make $7.50 an hour, $8.50 an hour to work a job all summer, and then go back home. We see it down here with people that work for hotels that come and work for grocery stores, stuff like that. But this visa is not going to be $1,000 anymore. It's going to be $100,000. So, you're going to see those smaller companies. They're not going to be able to bring those people in anymore, right? So, obviously with the high inflation right now, and you've already got margins being sucked down because of that high inflation. They're not being able to bring in workers to work for cheaper. Obviously, that's going to hurt small businesses. Big businesses are not going to care. They're going to pay that $100,000, no problem, to get that high level talent from overseas, because really the deal is that if you're a company, it's basically like a fight for the best talent in the world, right? Right now, until AI becomes fully developed, still the highest talent levels are paid high prices and all that stuff. So if you were paying $1,000 for H-1B visa for somebody making $200,000, you're gonna easily pay that extra $100K to keep them on your team, so that your company stays viable and competes in the market, right? So obviously, this seems like more of a business decision type deal from Trump. Some people are definitely going to see it as, hurting small business, right? But I don't really foresee this helping the American workforce like they are claiming. And I don't see it helping the American workforce because you either are that talented in the workforce or you're not, right? So even if somebody was bringing somebody over for cheaper, right, you still had to have that talent to be there, right? And if you had that talent, they would pay whatever the price was to get you, right? So, like I said, I don't really see that being the big issue. I do see the issue of not being able to bring over people that help your company in the summertime when help is not available, right? So, just wanted to comment on that. H-1B visas making $73 billion in revenue. Tell me, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think about this changing from 1,000 to 100,000? Was it too much? Should he gone to 10,000, 15,000? Kind of graduated it a little bit. So you didn't just same thing with the tariffs, right? You just went 0 to 150, 150% instead of saying, okay, we're going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 over time and let companies adjust, right? So has he gone too far with this? Or is $100,000, a good price there? So let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, so on to life coaching for today. So, as you know, as a life coach, I help people start their business, right? So Jessica's 34 years old, and she's got a business idea. It's 90% ready, right? She's had it 90% ready for 3 years. The logo's done, the website's done, LLC is filed, but she hasn't tried to find any customers. She hasn't made the product. And so we want to shift from preparation to execution, right? So we all have this, what's called analysis paralysis, or, failure to launch, whatever you want to call it. But, there's eventually a time where you got to take the risk. You got to jump into the water, right? You can, it's like learning to surf, right? You can jump up on sand on top of the surfboard and all that kind of stuff all you want to, but until you actually get out there and try to ride a wave, you don't really know if you can surf or not, right? So she's been 90% ready for 3 years. We got, if the business is viable, then we got to figure out how to to execute, right? So first thing you're going to do as a business, you're going to go on your personal Instagram and say, I am blank. So in this case, I am Jessica. This is my company that I'm starting. If you're interested in something like this, I appreciate your support. Here's the link below. And let me know how I can help you in any way I can. That kind of deal. Number one. And then number two, I personally, like I say, there's two ways you can do things, right? You can do things in an organic way, which is what I do with these podcasts, right? Kind of stuff. I give away as much information as I can for free, and in hopes of finding customers for my brand, right? Number one. And then number two, obviously I'm helping out as many people as I can, because, number one, we got to eat and survive. Number two, obviously we believe in our brand. We believe in the quality of our things that we're creating. And then, number three, we want to help. Like, you can't be at the top of the mountain by yourself, because you're going to be miserable at the top of the mountain. You'll see, you meet millionaires and decamillionaires, and they're just the most miserable, unhappy people you've ever met in your life. They have everything that everybody else would want, right? They have the cars, they have the clothes, they have the wife, they have the children, and they'll just be so miserable, right? So how do we get people up there with us so that we, number one, we're not miserable, but number two, you help people get up there with you, right? So, don't really know what the point of that was, but, so we're going to confront her perfectionism, right? So analysis paralysis, nothing's going to be perfect, but we just have to launch, and we have to be ready to launch. We have to have our product ready, packaged, ready to go, so we can send it to customers. We're going to either choose to be organic or choose to run ads. I choose to do both, right? So I run some ads and I'm organic with posts. I post 4 times a day on Instagram now, right? So, if you don't want to watch the long form here, you obviously can watch short form on Instagram. Let's say I'm up there every day, and and then we're just going to concentrate on executing, right? So delivering the product to the customer in the most efficient way that we possibly can, right? So that's what I try to do, right? So, somebody has an order, I try to have that order out within 24 hours, right? So that's what we're going to try to do for Jessica. And we'll have, the biggest thing is having the system in place so that she can get those orders out in 24 hours, right? So, and I've done this for several companies. So if you're interested in getting this set up for your company, hit me up for life coaching. Let's get you set up with a company that's ready to go, and that you don't have analysis paralysis anymore, and you shift from perfectionism to execution, preparation to execution on your business, right? So, all right, we got one more thing today. It's obviously the quote of the day, and the quote of the day is easy today. It's adapt or die, right? And this is a scientific thing for me, right? It's not the person that is it's not the species that is the best or the strongest or the smartest or all that kind of. It's the most adaptable that survives, right? So this goes for almost everything in life. I always say you play chess, not checkers, right? And so you have to adapt into situations that you're in, right? I went from medical school background to scooping ice cream at a beach shop to cutting grass to working on water lines and doing construction, to now working in the lab, to marketing my own business to, run a podcast to, I am very adaptable is basically the point, right? And the only way to survive in economies like this, where you got somebody changing, tariffs from 0 to 150% in a week, the only way you can actually survive is to adapt, right? You got them changing H-1B visas from 1,000 to 100,000. The only way you can actually survive is to adapt, right? And the most adaptable wins. So you either adapt or you die, right? So never get into a mind space where it's like, I have to do it this way. This is the only way it can be done. Because eventually, like, you're going to have to weave and navigate through the world, right? And the way you survive is to adapt, right? So I'm Nate, and I'm a life coach. If you're looking for help in your life, hit me up for life coaching. It's $2,000 for the year. Instead of $150 an hour, you're going to give me every week. You're going to give me every week for a year. And if I don't improve your life in that year, I'll give you the $2,000 back, right? So it is a 100% money back guarantee, and you get to improve your life. So check that out in the description below if you're interested. Shop at InstaShow.com. Pick up a cool inspirational t-shirt, highest quality t-shirt, cool sick messages. Pick that up if you're interested. And obviously buy my wife's book, London and the Goo Goo Goo. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.